Hey, hi, this is Sarah. It's been, I think, about 3.5 months since I came to Nepal, and it's been very interesting. A lot of things have happened. To start things off, I volunteered at 2 schools, which is more than any of the other volunteers. And the first school I was in Shri Viswamitra in Lalipur in Jamikot, and that was for 2 months. The second school was in Ramje near Parabise, where the other volunteers were at previously. So I have to say, both the schools have been really good to me in different ways, especially since I started learning Nepali more and more fluently over this time that I was here. And I sort of feel in some ways that I should have gone to Ramajit first when I didn't know that much Nepali, and gone to Shri Viswamitra second when I was semi-fluent in it. I have to say, overall I think it was a good experience. So pretty much it was difficult for me as a college student in the US to really kind of adjust to the culture. I feel like I should have been a little bit more mature before coming here, but the kids really definitely helped me out a lot. They're always really excited to learn, especially the younger kids. I started teaching art to them during my 3rd month more frequently, and they're just amazing in a lot of ways. They really like being creative, and they don't have that outlet a lot of the time during regular class. And I would say to any volunteer who wants to come, trying to incorporate art or storytelling, anything creative is probably one of the best things you can do as a volunteer, both for making making it fun for the kids, as well as just challenging yourself as a teacher. Secondly, I found that the teachers were definitely helpful in very different ways. In Shri Viswamitra, only 2 teachers knew English fluently. In Ramje, 3 of the teachers knew English to a certain extent, but only Shiva sir knew it in a very fluent manner. But they're all it's hard to kind of gauge how much experience each of them had because they all have different styles of teaching. But Shri Viswamitra was definitely more helpful in the sense that it was more organized as an actual school, and it's good in terms of learning how to be a teacher in the long run. And I feel I definitely got that feedback from them, because when I first came, I wanted to be friends with all of the kids, and I definitely was friends with them, but it was just really difficult as a teacher because since the kids were used to having more distance with the teachers, they're just playing around in class, and that was really fun, but it wasn't very conducive to learning. In Ramje though, the teachers were a lot more used to volunteers, and they were just giving me a lot of different advice in just how to be how I can teach in a flexible manner, which I think is really good for beginning volunteers. So like I sort of said earlier in the interview, this interview, I feel for volunteers who are definitely ready to I don't know, who had teaching experience in the past, Shri Viswamitra is definitely going to be a good place to teach, but Ramje is a more playful place if you're just starting out and you just want a little bit of experience. But overall, I would say that teaching in Nepal has been probably one of the most difficult things that I've ever done, and it's hard to really put into words like how this experience has affected me, because it's been going on for such a long period of time. But I would say that it's definitely really rewarding for anybody who wants to try and to view it as a living experience as opposed to like a volunteer or a tourist experience. Just like seeing the people that you'll interact with as like friends or like family. Like I definitely like made a lot of close friends while I was here, both in the villages I was teaching at as well as like just traveling around Nepal. Like the people in the NGO have been really good in helping me out. Like Ravindra sir and Rajan are always giving me advice, and like without them I probably wouldn't have been able to survive here. Like I'm like pretty impressed with how the Santi School Project has been like expanding its efforts. Like it's a pretty young NGO, but like it's already expanding into I think 2 more schools, right? And in Shri Biswamitra too, like one of the really cool things that was happening while I was there was just like there's like a construction of a new school, and I actually even got to help out with building that, and like the teachers were being like they're starting to learn like different ways of teaching English, and it's kind of it's really interesting to see how like these different kinds of ideals of how like educational pedagogy should be changed is actually being implemented, you know. And like I would definitely say that like to any future volunteers, like even if you feel sort of unsure of how to teach, or you feel like you're like in the end you feel like you weren't like a particularly good teacher, which is one thing like that I always had to deal with, as well as like other volunteers when I saw like Clem's interview as well. Like I'll say that any sort of support that you can give to this NGO would be helpful. Like I'm already thinking about doing some fundraising when I get back to the States, and like Santi School has been really good about just raising funds for their various projects, especially with constructions of like renovations of different schools. In Nepal, especially since like NGOs are so scattered and government support is very weak, it's hard to find a lot of donors who are willing to give continually. So like definitely like any volunteers who want to come here, like doing post volunteer work is probably one of the best things you can do to help the NGO. Because like I remember one of the things that kind of surprised me when I was in the villages was how much people would ask me to always remember them, and they would tell me about how a lot of volunteers were like really great when they came, but like after a while like they wouldn't, you know, like answer back, or they wouldn't contact the villages. And like I feel that like to be a really good volunteer there has to be a measure of like continuity. And like I mean, I know it's very difficult to ask anybody to always give support for like the rest of their lives, but like trying to help out these kids who really need it, like during your time in Nepal as well as afterwards, would be like one of the better things you can do as a human being, I guess. Like I'm not really sure how to put it otherwise. So like hopefully I'd be able to raise some funds. Like I'm gonna head back to Swarthmore College soon, finish up my college degree, but like maybe one day I'll come back to Nepal, you know, and we'll see what happens from there. So like for example, like in America things are very different, because people are always very blunt and like I guess a little bit like I guess in Asian cultures you would even consider it rude, like coming from a Korean background. And like Nepali people can be very formal, especially in Brahmin and Kshatriya castes, which I've experienced in my first village. And it's good to know like that like it takes time to build relationships no matter where you are. Like, which is kind of contrary to what you've seen in guidebooks, which are always talking about, oh, like, just, like, go all out. But it's not, like it's sort of exotifying in a way, the way that they present, like, Nepali culture in these books. And, like, you should just, and so, like, it's good to remember, like, the customs, for example, like, use your right hand, you know, like, you should like not eat beef, for example. Like do's and don'ts, but like I think the best thing you can do is just like act pretty naturally, I guess. Like I think that anybody who's going to volunteer will have a really good time. So just come with a lot of like enthusiasm and passion and some sort of lesson plan, and get ready to play with kids, and yeah.